Hi, I'm Nikki.
I'm Alyssa.
And I'm Jamie.
And this is America's Asses, a gal cast. Well, ladies,
You did good.
Ooh. Do you want to introduce everybody to us?
What? What are you talking about?
We like just introduced.
No, like the other the opening, like.
Oh,
like
we're an MCU centric.
Yeah. I'll get there.
Because then you're like 5 minutes in, and you're like, oh, I forgot to mention.
All right, welcome. You want to know what? I'm gonna send you a screenshot of my notes that are up because I can't see you guys, but this is my notes, and you guys are gonna laugh your asses off because I completely ignored them. Because the very first thing is you can see highlighted in red is. Welcome to America's Asses, a gal cast by women for everybody. Right, gals?
Yes.
Yes.
I completely ignored it.
You sure did.
Look at that. I love it. Bold in red.
Bold in red.
Is there something else that's eye-catching? Do I need to put like Bucky or Sam on there to be like, hey, look at me?
I know, right? Just the bulging arms. That's all.
Right.
That's all.
Or
Sam's nose.
Paul Bettany's biceps.
Oh my God, right? No, for me, it's Sam's eyes. Anthony's eyes.
Yeah.
Oh, talk about
good eyes.
Talk about dreamy eyes. You look at him and you look in his eyes and you can tell he's a good man, right? Yeah. You can tell he is a caring young man and he takes care of his mother. How much you want to bet? How much you want to bet? He goes home on Sunday for dinners. He's not a mama's boy though.
No.
He's just very respectful and you could tell he takes care of people.
Yes. I can. Yeah, he's like wholesome.
Mm-hmm. Yes, that's exactly it, Jamie.
Like Chris, he's one of the good guys.
Yes, Chris Evans. He's dreamy too. There's some Chris Evans in this episode.
But I wanted the real Chris Evans, not replays.
I'm sure you're going to get it sooner or later.
That's what I hope.
I have those feelings too.
That's my plan.
Yeah, something tells me that they're not done with him yet. Mm-mm.
That's what I've been saying, especially after watching this episode. I was like...
But right away, Sam says Steve's gone. What? Well, does everybody know he's old now? Or did he die?
He did not die. We're going to go through this one more time. Just because you use the terms he's gone doesn't mean he's fucking dead. Also, when you think about it,
this is MCU. Everything means
timeline from
the timeline's a couple weeks after.
Exactly. He's not dead.
Can we go to my tap that list, please?
Sure.
Old Cap.
Hey, even old Cap was pretty good looking. I mean, for an old guy, I mean, he had that Paul Newman vibe as old Cap, right?
Okay, I could see it.
Who did we add to your list?
Obviously, my boy Anthony, good old Sam. He's on the list with those caring, loving eyes. And I like clean Bucky.
Yes.
Not Winter Soldier.
No.
But, you know, it reminds me of when drug addicts get clean.
Yes.
And you could just see how healthy they look.
Mm-hmm.
That's exactly what it's like. It's more of not a look thing. It's more of an admiring thing. Like, dude, I admire all the work the hard work that you're putting in, you know, kind of thing.
Yeah. He cleans up pretty well.
Like I'm pretty picky.
Yeah.
Because I'm not oh yeah. But oh yeah.
Yeah, he's a, I don't know, pretty good looking guy. Yeah,
I'll take him.
And then the third one is Joaquin Torres. I think it's the character's personality that
he's just like Sam.
He's just like Sam.
He's just like him.
He's witty. He's funny. Yeah. He's like, He's like a little bit of, you know who reminds me of?
He has the same work ethic, I feel.
Right. Like he doesn't have
driven.
An agenda or anything else.
He just wants to do good.
Right. Exactly.
You know? That's his motivating factor is just to do good. Do good and be good.
Yep.
He had some cute zingers. He reminds me of a mashup of Spider-Man and Jimmy Woo. If they were one character, you know?
Okay. I could see it. Yeah.
The young naivete of a young Spider-Man, but the brains and quick wit of a one Jimmy Woo. You know?
Yep.
So. All right. This is the first episode of The Falcon and the Winter Soldier, entitled The New World Order.
Which I'm pretty sure broke Disney Plus on Friday.
It did.
Had a hard time logging in, right?
Yeah, but I think it was my Fire Stick.
Oh, okay.
It was my older one. So I know, Jamie, you're looking at me. So I switched it out with my newer one and it worked right away.
Oh, okay.
Pulled it up on my phone and I was like, I'm not watching this whole episode on my cell phone. I was like, I'm not doing it when I have a big ass TV right in front of me.
Right.
I started it on my phone and then I was able to go continue playing and it would like pop up and then it would start and then it would keep freezing.
Yeah.
So then I was like, screw this. I switched out the Fire Stick and it worked. So It's just the old one that is.
So I will share that after our whole debacle and trying to watch group watch last episode of WandaVision.
Yeah.
Remember when we sent the group text saying to watch the making of WandaVision? We were having such a hard fucking time getting that on the Fire Stick.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Little Big is like, I'm going to buy a new Fire Stick. And I was like, no, you're not.
He bought it during WandaVision.
No, he didn't.
Remember? He was looking at it.
He was
Oh,
looking at
he
it.
was looking at it. Okay.
So instead, I'm like, just buy a new fucking TV. He's like, wait, what? Because
wife of the year, man.
every time we go to Costco, he goes, can I get a TV? I go, no, keep walking. So
it's right there when you walk in.
So I was like, just get a new TV. He's like, wait, what? I go,
yeah. Really?
He's like, seriously? I go,
can I, Mom?
Yeah. So
did you guys get a smart TV?
Yeah, that's exactly what I wanted to do. I'm like, just fucking get a smart TV. So I like pulled open options and I like measured the space I have. He's lucky that I have some decorations. Otherwise, he would have got the 70-inch TV, but instead we got a 65-inch TV.
That's good. We have a 60-inch TV and it's huge.
Dude, this thing is gigantic.
Yeah.
So
and I thought our 55 was huge.
Watching Falcon and the Winter Soldier on this, stoked.
I need to come over and watch it now. You
stoked.
Well, congratulations.
Thanks.
Hey, good old stimmy drop. So, you're stimulating the economy. Baby.
Sure I am.
Yep.
Doing my part.
So then I asked Dad, I was like, Dad, can I get a new TV? He's like, no. we got a new couch.
Yeah, you did.
So that was what we got instead.
We got nothing. Oh, wait. I bought good meat from the Mariano.
Oh.
Yep. Bought Mariano meat. Yeah. Went to the case and I want that steak. I want that chicken breast. Give me that pork loin right
you
there.
Fancy.
Yep. Didn't even have them weigh it and tell me how much it was going to cost.
Fancy.
I'm like, wrap it up. I will take it.
Mama's taking that meat.
And then I surprised the kids with some M&M cookies from the Mariano's Bakery. Hey.
Look at you. Shit.
Well, that's right. They like store-bought stuff, not.
Yeah, they never eat my homemade stuff. Never. They like Oreos and
one day.
Well,
they'll
my
learn
kids, whatever.
They'll learn their ways eventually.
Hope one would hope.
Their ways.
One would hope. We open up with Sam ironing a dress shirt and getting dressed. And Cap's shield is on his bed and he's just looking at it. And he hears a voiceover in his head as he zips up the shield in the shield bag. He hears Cap's voice asking Sam how it feels as he's holding the shield. And Sam says, like it's someone else's. And old Cap says, it isn't. So Cap, and that was from Endgame. Mm-hmm. And Cap basically was giving him the shield because Cap wants him to be the new Captain America. Frankly, all indications show that this is going to be Sam's origin story. Not origin story, but his journey to becoming Captain America. At least that's what all the Reddits have told me after one episode.
I think the Reddits are right.
I think the Reddits are right too. Okay. And then we open up to just a simple title. Just Falcon and Winter Soldier. And that's it. No
fancy schmancy, nothing.
No fancy schmancy. It was very perfectly simple is what I have in my notes. So let's talk about Sam. Who is Sam Wilson? Sam Wilson, who's played by Anthony Mackie, made his debut back in Captain America number 117 in September of 1969, making him one of the first Black superheroes ever. He was relatively typical hero backstory. In his youth, he was shaped by violence and early death of his parents and, the typical superhero bullshit, right?
He was from Harlem.
But he was from Harlem. Yeah, he wasn't from Louisiana. I found this pretty interesting. While working for the mob, Wilson's plane crashed on a Caribbean island that happened to be occupied by the Red Skull. Yeah. Who essentially created the Falcon. He gave him the ability to talk to animals, especially his Falcon named Red Wing. Yes. So Red Wing, his little drone in the comics was really a bird, and he could telekinetically the hubby. He could not telekinetically. What is it? Telepathically. Thank you. He could telepathically talk to the bird in the comics. Okay. Captain America saved him as this new superhero. And the two worked together for years over the comics. Many other adventures followed, and none will have such an impact as this Disney show. That's what it says. I totally cut and paste there. Command C, Command V.
Good girl.
I learned after you guys rained me. I am learning, and you guys are right.
So much easier.
Game changer.
So it is a game changer. I got my notes done in instead of 2 days, in a half a day.
Game changer.
I'm not joking.
Telling you.
Totally. Okay, so that's him, and I'm not even going to bother talking about the rest of this bullshit. It'll just give shit away. All right. Now we skip to the next scene. And now it's very fast, it's very thrilling, and it's very complicated. So it goes really fast. All right. Let's see if I could do it justice. Oh, okay. Falcon, we find out this next scene that Falcon is on a mission to stop a criminal organization known as LAF. LAF has kidnapped a military liaison. His name is Captain Vasant, and they hijacked his plane. So with Vasant, LAF planned to enter into Libya airspace, which would have prevented the U.S. Air Force from going after them or risk causing an international cluster fuck, right? So they don't want to go into the airspace. They're being smart. I mean, that is pretty smart, Why they kidnapped him, I couldn't figure out. Do you guys know why they kidnapped him?
No,
I didn't. I couldn't figure it out, and nobody was writing about it.
It wasn't in the script.
It wasn't in this. Completely was not in the script. I think it was just a jumping board to introduce.
Well, right. That, and I was reading that there is no really description or explanation of what LAF is.
Right.
No, there's none. There is none. It says LAF, and then our good old pal George is back.
Yep.
Well, George St. Pierre is the actor, but George, what is his?
Fat Rock?
Yes.
Rock?
Yes. Bardock.
Bardock.
Bartok. Bartok. That's it. Bartok. So Falcon goes after the villains, and he's being briefed about LAF. And they're like, yeah, these guys are really killer. All right. They're really aggressive. So we need the Air Force needs you to go in, get them, get out, clean, don't make a big splash. He's like, gotcha. Which, okay.
Easier said than done.
So easier said than done. So then he's told that Joaquin Torres, was going to be his eyes on the ground. And this is where my third tap that list person comes in. Actually, if I were to rank the three, it'd be Sam, Torres, then Bucky.
Ooh.
See, I'm opposite.
Yeah.
Put Bucky up on top.
Yeah.
Really?
For me.
Definitely Sam. It's all about personality for me. Really. Which kind of is weird because my husband doesn't talk. He talks to me, but he doesn't talk to anybody else.
Are you saying your husband's anti-social?
He's not antisocial. He just listens to everybody all the time, and he will retain every single thing you say. And then what he will do is he will bring up that conversation that you two had 2 years ago outside by the bonfire when you talked for 5 minutes. He will remember every word you
That's
said.
I know somebody
And
who's
he will,
like that.
My dad.
And he will,
Yeah.
Your dad. Yeah, your dad is totally like that. Falcon is on a mission to stop a criminal organization. No, we already did that because we had some good banter about LAF.
Right. How
Yeah.
no one knows what they are.
All right.
Mhm.
Yeah, nobody knows what LAF is. They plan to enter the Libyan airspace, yada, yada, yada. Okay, here we go. So Falcon goes after these villains with his eyes on the ground, First Lieutenant Joaquin Torres, completely, keeping an eye on them and just giving them the 411 and all that. Sam doesn't know anything about the LAF. So when he was briefed, he's like, LAF, the officer was like, yeah, they're a pretty big deal. They're really aggressive. And so he's like, all right. He's like, listen, keep it subtle.
Yeah, okay.
Spoiler alert, it was nothing at all.
It was a full-on Marvel action sequence.
Oh, for sure.
It was good.
Fight
And
scene.
it was
It
good.
made you feel like you
It
were
was-
watching a movie, not a series.
Yeah. Not
It
a TV
did.
show. Yeah.
He was going in and out of rocks and cliffs and
Helicopters.
Yeah, helicopters.
So what I loved is that, okay, so there was too many of them and only one of him, and they targeted him with all these missiles. So what he did is he flew by their helicopters, and the missiles would hit those helicopters and just explode their own helicopters.
Yeah.
So then in comes George Bartok. All right. So he's back. And if you remember, was it Winter Soldier he was
Yeah.
in? The opening
He was
scene, he
the,
fought Captain America, right?
Yeah, he was the pirate for the ship that apparently what they had said that Nick Fury had hired to hijack his own ship. But we
Right,
know that wasn't
right.
true.
Yeah, right. So, well, maybe he's a pirate. Maybe he was just doing that to get, kidnap him and get money from the government, embezzle.
Well, I think
whatever.
they brought him
Who
back
knows what
because
they-
it was such a cool parallel between
Yeah.
Captain America,
Oh,
Winter Soldier, and the very first essentially fight sequence in Falcon.
yeah. You know what? That makes all the sense in the world.
Mhm.
It does. It sets him up to become Captain America and follow in Steve's
Yeah.
shoes, right?
Yep.
So when I forgot. Okay, so there was one part. Oh, I digress. I have to go back for a second. So when Falcon flies up to the plane that was hijacked, he jumps on top of it and kind of peeks in the window to see.
Yeah.
And he sees that one pilot's dead, the other, and then the LAF pilot is flying the plane. So then he looks again and the pilot sees him and the pilot freaks out, calls George Bartok in, and he's like, there's somebody looking in the window. And George is like, whatever. It reminded me, do you remember that episode of Twilight Zone with William Shatner where he gets all panicky because he says there's a gremlin on the wing of the plane?
Yeah.
That's what it reminded me of. Nobody believed him. Nobody believed him. And that's exactly what that reminded me of, was the Twilight Zone.
Yeah.
So he's flying in and out. He lost their trail, but then, or he's fighting them on the hijacked plane. They all suit up. The LAF suit up, gets the officer that they kidnapped. They tie him on tandem and they jump out of the plane because the pilot got shot in all this mess. So they know, they're going to go down eventually. So they're like, let's jump. So they jump out. They're going to parachute out. And miraculously, I don't know if this is even possible, but then again, it's Marvel. Everything's possible. They are jumping out of the plane and a helicopter catches them.
Well, that was like when Sam jumped out of the building into the helicopter with Nick Fury and Black Widow.
True.
And he was like, 41st floor. And he almost went through the helicopter. That doesn't happen.
I'll give you that. So Torres is like, you got to fall back. You got to fall back. We're about to hit Libya's border. You need to fall back. So Sam, amazingly, one of these missiles is following him. He flies right through the helicopter
that
where
was awesome.
the office. Yes, it was really, 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 really cool. So he flies through the helicopter where Captain Vassant. He flies through the helicopter where Captain Vassant is sitting with Bartok, and he grabs Vassant. Thank you, Vassant. He grabs Vassant. And he flies off, and Bartok is like, holy fuck. And he jumps out. So he's coming back for something or another.
Yeah, he made that one out of
He made that one out alive. Yeah.
But if we see him later on in the series or somewhere else, they left that open-ended.
Right.
Well, he's not an actor. He's just an MMA fighter. George. Yeah. So I don't know if he really has good acting jobs.
No, I think he may just show up, to, be in another fight scene and maybe another one of the upcoming shows.
Maybe.
We don't know.
We don't know.
We really don't know because we've only seen one episode.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cut to Tunisia, where Sam is repairing his suit and Torres debriefs him about the LAF. And then they start talking about the anarchist group who call themselves the Flag Smashers. They want to revert the world back to the way it was during the blip. Okay. They want open borders. They want it one world, no countries, just one world. And so here's a little FYI about the Flag Smashers. They take their name from a comic book supervillain, the one and only Flag Smasher. Flag Smasher was created by a cap writer, Mark Grunwald, back in 1985. And apparently the 80s cap is like the best cap. Everybody, all over Reddit, all over the internets, all over the interwebs, everybody is like, Cap circa 80s is the best storyline ever. The original Flag Smasher was Carl Morgenthau, and he was a non-powered costume terrorist kind of person. He ran an organization known as Ultimatum. I'll get this right. Not like sword. Okay, Ultimatum stands for the Underground Liberated Total Integrated Mobile Army to Unite Mankind. So they're just debriefing in Tunisia. And the best quote, I think, about this whole scene, when Torres was telling Sam all about the Flag Smashers, and Torres tells Sam that Flag Smashers want things to be the same as it was during the blip. Mm-hmm. And it wasn't all that great, to be honest. And Sam says, every time something gets better for one group, it gets worse for another. And ain't that the fucking truth, ladies? Seriously. That's why all this unrest these days in our country, because one group is demanding equality and the other group doesn't want to give up what they got, Mm-hmm. So, I mean, it's completely, I feel it. So then Torres tells Sam that he'll keep an eye on the Flag Smashers for him and keep him posted and in the loop about the Flag Smashers. And then he asks Sam if Captain America is on the moon. And he's like, no, he's not on the moon. We see Sam giving a speech about Captain America, about how he was one of a kind and there'll never be another one like him. And if you noticed, he's standing on his left.
Yes, I was just gonna say that. That's like my favorite quote, on your left.
Yeah. He's standing on the left of Captain America. Just giving him props, giving him, his, he's just such he was a hero for the nation, and he's presenting the Smithsonian with Captain America's shield. So Captain America gave him the shield because Captain America thought he was worthy of it. But Sam can't get past all his own bullshit and keep it. And he's like, no, it's not mine. So he gives it to the country. He gives it back to the Smithsonian. Now, I don't know if he gave it to the Smithsonian or lent it to the Smithsonian. Whatever the legalities are, it's at the Smithsonian. Then War Machine, or Jim Rhodes, he's looking off on the sidelines and he's like, yeah, it's my boy, whatever, And then he's like, hey, let's take a walk. And they took this awesome walk through the Captain America exhibit at the Smithsonian. And there's so many cool things.
And I think Alyssa cried.
She cried. I think her cookie crumbled. Okay. Know what I mean?
A little bit.
Just sitting over here quietly crying in the corner.
Basically, War Machine's like, listen, why did you give that shield away? That's supposed to be yours. And he's like, nope, man. No, it's not mine. It doesn't feel like it belongs to me. He's like, whatever, dude. I'll be here if you need me. Okay. And that was basically the gist of I think they just wanted to show off all the cool things. And it was pretty much a montage and a tip of the hat to everything Captain America has done for the MCU thus far. There's so many cool things, and just Marvel in general, because they had the original cover of the very first Captain America comic book. I'm sure Alyssa has a list of everything they had. Don't you?
I actually don't.
Oh my God. I am so disappointed in you.
I know.
I mean,
it wasn't my episode, so I didn't have anything.
Yeah, but still, I mean, there was a newspaper headline that reported about the 400 prisoners liberated, which is a direct reference to when Steve rescued Bucky from, and the other soldiers in Captain America: The First Avenger. You see, prior to them even getting to the wall, that when they're walking through the exhibit, you can see that there's like a whole section dedicated to Bucky.
Yes.
And then you see, how like Hydra was infiltrated SHIELD and Sokovian Accords, and you see all that like on like the cool, like transparent pillars in between. Oh God, it was like chock full of everything.
It was really good.
Little like Easter eggs.
Yep. And then they had all the vanished. Then they had like on the other one a running list of all of those who were vanished.
Yeah, it was really, really nice. It was very nice. I'd go see it.
I would too.
I was just gonna say I want to see it in real life now.
I know, right? So we're done with that. They go on their different ways, whatever. So now we cut to Bucky. But I'm just gonna cut to the chase. He's having a nightmare, okay? And he has this terrible nightmare about how he's, as the Winter Soldier, how he ambushed a group of men. And then he saw this young man who's just quietly trying to get into his room, but he's so nervous he can't open his room, his hotel room. And Bucky basically kills him because
he was the Winter Soldier and had no empathy at all.
Exactly. No empathy, Winter Soldier, brainwashed, blah, 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 right?
Did you notice that when he woke up, he was sleeping on the floor? Because his bed was too soft. Like in Winter Soldier, when Sam and Cap first meet, that's why they were running so early. It's because Sam goes to Cap, is that because your bed's too soft? And he's like, yeah, I feel like I'm on a marshmallow. I'm going to sink to the floor. And Bucky's doing the same thing, that he's more comfortable on the floor from being in action for so many years that he can't be like normal people and sleep in a normal bed.
That's awesome. Mm-hmm. I did not know that. The more you know. Very good. So, well, I'm about to eat my words. Remember when I said that the MCU doesn't know what a therapist is?
I was going to say that. I was like, finally, he's going to therapy. I was just listening to our recap earlier, and I was like, we got to mention that. They finally go to therapy.
So now we know that the MCU has,
That's only because it's part of his pardon. Let's be honest.
Still, true. It's helpful. Hopefully.
Bucky is seeing this therapist, Dr. Rayner. While in pardon-mandated therapy, like you said, Bucky is very reluctant to confess to Dr. Rayner about his reoccurring nightmares. And he's just reluctant in general. So that is on point for MCU right there. So then Rayner, she basically threatens to report him if he's not going to share, because this is part of his
rehabilitation.
Yeah, it's mandated. Otherwise he's going to prison if he doesn't do it. So he reveals the process of how he makes amends.
He's got 3 rules.
Woo, he's got 3 rules. You want to go? You want to do it?
Go for it.
Okay. Rule number 1. Well, no, these aren't his rules. These are the doctor's
rules. Yeah.
Right. Number 1, you can't do anything illegal. Number 2, he forgot. And she goes, don't hurt anyone. That's a pretty big rule.
It's a big one. Well, why isn't it number 1 then? I love it.
And then the 3rd rule is Bucky has to state, I am no longer the Winter Soldier. I am James Bucky Barnes, and you're part of my efforts to make amends.
And then he smiles.
Tips his hat, and leaves.
I don't know if you were going to cover this, but before, when he wasn't willing to share, she just pulls out her notebook and is going to start writing. Oh, yeah. And he was like, oh, that's that so passive aggressive. Right. That damn notebook. I thought that was funny.
No, it's very funny because it's very true. Yeah. Like, have you guys ever gone to therapy? It is like completely. They're like, all right, well, I'm just going to write whatever I want then. I'm like, no, don't write whatever you want.
Right.
I'm crabby today.
Right. I want to know what you're writing about.
Yeah. What are you writing about?
Are you writing about me? Why are you writing about me?
Bucky, as he's discussing with the doctor his 3 rules of making amends, they're showing in a flashback who he was making amends with, I guess, with, whatever. I don't know how he was making amends. He was able to track down and detain a Hydra member, Senator Atwood, who the Winter Soldier helped get elected to Congress. But after Hydra disbanded, she continued to do some pretty shifty stuff afterwards. So he's like, no, we're going to end this now. And he basically got, quote, intel for an aide to be able to convict Atwood by rigging her car. Now, all he had to do was put a microphone, but he decided to somehow make her car into like a remote control car. And he's moving her car with an iPad, and she's flipping out. Nobody was hurt. He did punch her bodyguard, but whatever. The dude pointed a gun at him. Yeah. Self-defense.
Right.
That's how he's making amends. And then he tells her, I'm Bucky Barnes. This is my effort to make amends. I'm no longer the Winter Soldier, yada, yada, yada. Dr. Rayner then inspects his phone. And Rayner discovers that Bucky doesn't have any contacts in his phone. And he only has texts from Sam, which he hasn't answered. Barnes is like,
whatever.
Yeah.
Whatever, dude.
Bucky says 90 years of constant combat, he just wants a life of peace.
I don't blame him.
I don't blame him either, to be honest. I mean, I've been home with these kids doing remote learning for a year.
You just want some damn peace.
Some peace. Yes. But Rayner urges him to try and, make friends and, reach out. Yeah. So then we see Bucky's amends list. This, ladies, I am not shitting you when I say I sat here for 4 fucking hours going over this list.
I am not surprised.
So not every name means something.
Yet.
So there are some people that are just staffers on the show. And then there are some shout outs and there are some major character introductions. So number 1 was A. Rostov. And this could possibly be Andrei Rostov. And he's known as the Red Baron. He was a Winter Soldier's enemy when the Winter Soldier was in a gulag. And then when he was released, he hunted him down and assassinated him. So that could be a plot line later down the road. Mm-hmm. They're just, you know how MCU is, man. They set things up years in advance.
They hold on to every little thing.
Yep. Every little thing. So this may be something in years to come. Second one was P.W. Hauser, which could reference William Hauser, who appeared in the Nick Fury comics in the 60s. He was a general who served under Adolf Hitler during the Second World War and was a staunch believer in the Nazi regime. He was a Nazi bastard. And then there's Gaynard, which I couldn't figure anything out. Telazar, could not figure that one out. And then we've got the big one, H. Zemo. Mm-hmm. Who is H. Zemo? Helmut Zemo?
The baddie from Civil War that tried to break him up.
And let me tell you,
pulled us apart like cotton candy.
That's good. Well, Helmut Zemo, we all know, is the villain behind, that crazy plot to put the Avengers against each other in Civil War. And he's responsible for killing King T'Chaka. And later triggering Bucky's Hydra brainwashing again. Like, this dude is no good. And he's probably coming back in this episode. So everybody forewarned, he's probably coming back in some capacity because he's on the IMDb. So he's coming back somehow.
I think he was in the previews too, wasn't he?
I think you did see him.
Okay.
I think so.
Okay. Yeah. I didn't catch it. All right. And then we have N. Henriksen. Don't know. N. Sorry. Don't know. T. Osman. Don't know. L. Kaminsky. We all know who Len Kaminsky is. It was just a little tip of the hat to this Marvel Comics great. He was a writer, assistant editor of Marvel Comics, and just an all-around awesome dude. And then there's M. Kaminsky, which we don't know what M is. We know L. Kaminsky. C. Okay, I'm gonna murder this. C. Kusnetov. C. All right, I'm gonna spell it because I can't say it. C. First name C. Second name, last name Kusnetov.
I can't help you.
Nah.
Sorry.
Yeah. He was a Soviet scientist who was active in the Marvel universe during the Cold War. So he was, all around, during the space race and the USSR, and he was just getting his nose wet, just being a jerk. So then there's S. Whitaker, another tip of the hat for another noteworthy comic book creator, Steve Whitaker. He worked on the legendary V for Vendetta. If you haven't, read it. Awesome. Love it. Movie sucked. Read the graphic novel. It's beautiful. And then there was Y. Nakashima, which we will get to in a minute. And then there's C. Holden. So we don't know who C. Holden is yet. So, and then we we go to the streets of Brooklyn where, Bucky breaks up a fight between Mr. Nakajima. He's a different Nakajima. Okay, never mind. Two different people. So Yori Nakajima is his name, and he's his neighbor. Which is and he's just like, hey.
Rescues him like he rescued Cap when we first saw him in the first Avengers.
Exactly.
Even the little guy
someone your own size.
Right.
Yeah. And he was, they were just fighting over trash. Unique. like Monique, but with you because it's unique. All right, dude. So, but Mr. Nakajima is just a cute little old man.
He really is the cutest. I'd be his friend.
Ladies, I love little old men. I just love little old people. I love old people. I just think we can learn so much from them. And I love listening to their stories and listen to them talk. But little old men are just my favorite. They're just so cute. And I love how they flirt with you when they do their old time flirting. Oh my God, I love it. I love it. Anyway, but that's me. Not everybody welcomes it, but I do. So so Bucky is like, all right, let's go have some lunch. And he's like, I don't want to talk. He's like, I'll pay. He's like, okay, but I'm not talking. So they go for lunch. And Mr. Nakajima opens up to Bucky and talks about his son who worked abroad and he was killed, and they don't know who killed him, how he was killed. They just know he was killed. And he's never been the same since. Yeah. Wrong place, wrong time. Yeah. So then Bucky's eyeballing the waitress, and Bucky is 106 years old. So he's out of the game for quite some time. And he's been basically brainwashed for the last 60 years. So,
there's that.
Whatever.
Yeah.
Right.
He's just eyeballing. And then Mr. Nakajima says to the waitress, Leah, that he wants to take you out. And he basically sets them up on a date.
He's a good wingman.
A really good wingman. I think that's why, you know what? Because Bucky's 106. I think that's why he hangs out with Mr. Nakajima.
Close in age.
Yeah.
They're close in age and they think the same, and they grew up in the same era.
They were looking at the newspaper, and Yuri goes, "Oh, nobody made it past 90," and Bucky goes, "Ah, such a young age."
Yeah, it was funny. Yeah. So they made a date. So Bucky agreed to pick her up next night after 10 o'clock after her shift. So now Sam's driving down to Delacroix, Louisiana to meet up with his sister, where he lives. He lives and he's from Delacroix, Louisiana, where in the comic books he was from Brooklyn. Harlem. He was from Harlem. And his sister is a survivor of the blip, and she's been struggling to maintain the family seafood business. And she wants to sell the family boat. And Sam is like, no, it's half mine. You can't do it unless I say so. Kind of jerky here for being such a sweet man. Kind of like, dude, you haven't been here for 5 years. And now you're back. And
now you want to be the decision maker.
Right.
Right?
Now you just want to come in and save the day.
No, I mean, that's his MO. He has to save the day. He's a chronic superhero, right? And something tells me if he didn't really have that suit and he didn't really have the abilities he has, he would pick the most destitute woman and try to fix her in normal everyday life. That's what he would do. Yeah, I mean, that's the kind, I mean, he wants to make everybody happy around him. But he also wants he wants things the way they were too. I think he yearns for things to be the way they were when they're not. He's got to come to the realization that things are just never going to be the same.
Right.
So she's like, no, I'm not. I'm selling this place. I'm selling the boat. I'm selling the thing. And he's like, no, you can't. Yes, I can. No,
it's
you
half
can't. Yes,
mine.
I can. No, you can't.
Right.
It's half mine. Man.
I like when she hits him and he's like, I forgot how hard you hit. And then they're going to fight and she goes in the other room and he goes to follow her. He's like,
don't hit me.
Don't hit me. Don't hit me.
You want to know what? I just always that's even though they're fighting, you can tell they love each other.
Yeah.
That's a sign of a few things. One, that's a sign of great acting and great chemistry.
Mm-hmm.
Number two, that's a sign of a loving, healthy sibling relationship right there, And another point I'd like to point out. One more thing I'd like to point out. That actress, I didn't write down her name and I don't remember, but she plays Sarah. Her skin is fucking flawless. Not a pore, not a blemish. Her skin is so evenly toned. I could not believe how perfect her skin is. Is she human? Is she real? Did they CGI that shit right off of her?
It's possible.
That's what I want to know. So yeah, I mean, she had flawless skin. Meanwhile, Bucky meets up with Leia at the end of her shift on their dates. And what does he do? A good old fashioned bouquet of flowers.
Yeah.
And she goes, oh, you're so old fashioned. This is great.
Well, I mean, that's what they did when he was
that's
dating.
What they did back then. Right. That's what they did.
Nobody goes dancing like he used to like to do.
Yeah. I don't know about you ladies, but I still get flowers.
I do too.
My man still buys me flowers. He bought me 24 roses just what was it for? For Valentine's Day. He bought me 2.
I'm not gonna lie, I'd rather have something to eat.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I would too, but remember, I'm on my journey for my weight loss quote. My weight loss journey. So stupid. I hate it when people say that. So he bought me flowers, but he always buys me flowers for occasions. And this year he bought our daughter her first bouquet of flowers for Valentine's Day. She was
I used to get
tickled.
That.
Yeah. Nothing's more special than a daddy buying his daughter flowers.
Yep. I would get a rose and mom would get a rose.
Oh my God.
Sweetest.
Yeah.
My dad only bought me flowers for like plays and concerts and stuff, but not for like my birthday or anything.
No, usually just for Valentine's Day and Sweetest Day. Like we would each get like a red rose or like a couple roses or something. Like nothing outlandish.
That's so sweet.
Yeah.
So now Bucky's with Leia on the worst date ever. The worst date ever. Yeah, I don't think he needs to jump in that pond and just quite yet. I think he needs to work on himself a little bit more. She was a really sweet gal and she was really trying to open up to him and he's just avoiding her questions. And she asked him, how old are you? Oh, you sound like my dad, she says. And then she goes, how old are you? He goes, 106. And she's like, oh, you.
And he's like, no, seriously.
Doesn't she know who he is?
Apparently not. Well, he cleans up well. I mean,
he does look like a different man.
Yeah, because then she was asking about like what's with the gloves and
he's
for circulation. Because he's old.
Oh man alive. They got to talking about Mr. Nakajima's son, and she was just saying how you're so nice to be so kind to him. You know, he lost his son and he's never gotten over it. And blah blah blah. Going into it, Bucky just stands up and walks out.
I gotta go.
Worst date ever. He goes to Mr. Nakajima's house. Open the door, and he's got a shrine to his dead son, which is the young man that the Winter Soldier just shot because he saw everything happen when he ambushed the group of men. So he's trying to make amends with Mr. Nakajima. I mean, how do you admit that you're the one who killed your son when you've come close to this man and you truly adore him, right?
Yeah.
So it's hard to admit to your friends that you've done them wrong in the past. You know, it truly is. I mean, I'm sure we've all been there in some way or another. Not that huge.
Right.
We've never killed each other's, but
yeah.
We've all made questionable mistakes in the past and then didn't realize we'd become friends with our foes, right? In some way or another. Although you guys have never been my foes. I've never looked at you guys as like, never.
Oh, thanks.
The moment I met you two, I'm like, these are my people. Like, these are my girls.
Yes.
Yeah, I am now home. Mr. Nakajima asks Bucky, how'd the date go? Why are you here? And Bucky says, I was just paying you back for lunch because I told you I would. He's like, okay. Bucky gives him money and walks away. he was going to tell him, I guess, at least that's the impression I got, that he was going to tell him everything, but then he lost his
the gusto.
nerve, which.
Well, when he saw the shrine, he kind of.
Yeah, I think that's exactly what did it. Like, you think if that shrine wasn't there, he might have had the guts to do so, but.
Yeah, most definitely. Now we cut to Switzerland. Again, I have A, B, and C. I only have 3 parts to this, so it's not that bad. It's not that long, but we cut to Switzerland. Okay, Joaquin Torres is continuing to track down the flag smashers. So he's there looking like a civilian. And when he finds a group of people, he's like, what are we supposed to do? He's really confused. And then all of a sudden, this woman comes around and starts handing out masks. So he puts one on, but it becomes clear to him really quick that he wandered into the middle of a robbery and he didn't mean to. And the flag smashers are robbing a bank in Switzerland. And then a local cop tries to arrest him, and all this kerfuffle happens. But, Torres gets away, takes off his mask, and he's like, no. This one flag smasher is superhuman.
Mm-hmm. I had that in my notes too.
Yeah, he's really, really.
He had super strength. Like, he kicks the guy across the street, pretty much.
Like airborne.
Yeah.
Airborne. Yeah.
Like, and that's not normal. We see that with the other superheroes, but not normal people.
Not normal people. Well, he's obviously not normal already because he's a flag smasher and he's robbing a Swiss bank. So he knocks the cop way back. The big scary flag smasher is credited in IMDb as Dovich.
Mm-hmm.
Dovich. And so questions are, how did he get this strong? And what and who is he? I don't know how he gets this strong. The words power broker watching appears in the credits. You know how they flash different things in the credits? Yeah. Power broker watching appeared in the credits. And power broker was key to John Walker getting his super soldier strength, as well as several other minor Marvel characters in the 80s. So again, this is mirroring the 80s comics, the 80s Captain America
yes,
comics.
But a fun little tidbit is that Power Broker also has ties to both Joaquin Torres and the U.S. agent.
Really?
Ooh.
So Power Broker is going to be a huge part of this series, I think.
Yeah, there's some theories out there that he might get a little cameo at some point, possibly.
Ooh.
But yeah, I mean, all the theories are essentially saying that, they think Power Broker is still conducting, the super soldier experiments, which explains why Flag Smasher has, his superhuman abilities.
Most definitely. Here's another little tidbit for you. The woman handing out the Flag Smasher masks was very tough to like figure out who she was, but the IMDb's says that her name is Carly Morgenthau. So in other words, she's probably the leader of the Flag Smashers and not some big scary dude with super soldier strength. She's really the leader instead of Carl, who we talked about earlier in the episode. It's probably a girl, or it could be his daughter, who I don't know. We will find out probably within the next few episodes, probably next episode. So that all happens, and Torres
got kicked in the face
on his ass.
Yeah,
he completely knocked on his ass. So now we're at the bank, and Sarah and Sam are trying to get a loan at the bank to consolidate so they can keep the boat and the business. And the banker is starstruck. He wants to take a picture with him and everything. And this motherfucker has the nerve and the audacity to deny them a fucking loan.
Dude.
Motherfucker. Are you serious?
It's the Falcon. Come on. What's wrong with you?
One, obviously they're hard work. That's number one. They're hardworking they've had this family business for years. Obviously, it hasn't gone under yet. They just want to make improvements. It's not like they want to, they just want to make improvements.
They don't want a loan to buy a yacht.
Right, exactly. They just want to fix up what they have.
Oh, it pissed me off is what it did. And then 2, he has the nerve and the audacity
Can I get a selfie?
to get a selfie with the Falcon. What a jerk. So basically, he denies them the loan. And his sister's like, fuck you. I told you. Now let's go deliver these meals. I told you this was a bad idea. I'm selling the boat. He's like, not quite yet. So, so that's to be continued. Yes. Meanwhile, he gets a text saying, call me from a secured line. I got some info for you. So he's talking to Torres, and Torres explained the whole entire situation that happened in Switzerland with the flag smashers. Sam's like, okay, just keep your eyes peeled and keep me posted. Sarah walks in as Sam is finishing up with Torres, and Sarah says, you need to get a look at this. It was terrible. I don't know who that guy was. Did you know who the guy was who introduced him? He was the same man who...
I don't know who he is, yeah.
He took possession of Captain America's shield at the Smithsonian.
Oh.
So it was the same man. I don't know who that.
I thought on IMDb it just said like government aid.
Oh, okay. All right.
I feel like we had a conversation about this, but I can't remember what he said. Meh.
Don't ask him. I don't want to piss him off anymore. He seems pretty mad at us right now.
No, he's fine.
So, okay. Because he's writing those emails, God
He hates
damn
his
it.
workers.
He's going to end up being a regular character in our podcast. You know that, right? Sam is pissed.
It just says government official.
Okay, so he's a government official. Talks about how America needs a superhero. Steve is retired. He's not here anymore. We still need a hero after the blip. This world is gone to pot. And we found that superhero. We've got our new Captain America. And who the fuck thinks that they can just name a new Captain America?
Actually, one that looks like him.
Oh, he's not a good-looking Captain America.
No.
He has that underbite.
Oh, God, I know. Someone needs to fix his face.
Well, let me tell you. He is not terribly looking in real life.
No, because he looks like his dad.
Kinda.
Yeah, like you could tell that's his son.
So this is Wyatt Russell, who is playing this new Captain America.
John Walker.
Thank you, John Walker. Johnny Walker. Hey! I got so drunk on Johnny Walker Black. I smell it. I'm like, no, I can't. I smell it and I get dizzy. Man, Johnny Walker Black was my jam. Before I had kids and when I had money. All right. So anyway, Wyatt Russell plays John Walker, who is the new Captain America as of right now.
Cocky SOB just winks into the camera.
Yeah. He's like, here's your new Captain America. And he looks, smiles, and just winks into the camera. And then it's done. Right then, right there, every woman's vagina seized up.
It shriveled.
It shriveled away. It shriveled away because nobody can take the place of Steve. Well, no, I take that back. Obviously, we know it's going to be either Sam or Bucky. But because Sam and Bucky both were Captain America at one point.
Right.
So now the question is, this series, who are they setting up? Are they setting up Sam or are they setting up Bucky? I think they're setting up Sam because Torres is in the mix.
Right.
And Torres even in the comic books, Torres takes on the title of Falcon and is Captain America's side. I was going to say side piece.
Captain America's side chick.
So I was wondering, are they going to team up together, or is it just going to be like their story, like Sam's story and Bucky's story?
No, I think
Or
this is all
eventually
coming together for the next wave of Avengers.
Yeah. When they team up with.
In the promo, we saw, oh, does this make us partners now? So I think they're just working parallel.
Mm-hmm.
And like you said, Jamie, this is all 100% a setup for the next phase, is what it is. You know, I think Torres is going to be Falcon. Mm-hmm. I think Sam is going to be Captain America, because, you know, he becomes Captain America not when Steve dies, because Steve doesn't die. He just gets old and loses his powers. So exactly what happened in Endgame. Johnny Walker is Captain America now, and everybody's pissed off. Reddit is a flutter. Holy moly. People are pissed. And then you got the comic book readers going, calm your tits. You know this happens, right? You know what's going to happen, right? Why are you getting so mad and so angry now? It's just the first episode. Obviously, he's a bad guy. Obviously, they're going to take him down. And obviously, Sam is going to become Captain America. We all see this a mile away.
We're emotionally vested.
Yeah.
That's exactly what it is. Honest to God, so emotionally invested.
I just have in my notes that Sam looks like he's looking at the TV thinking, that doesn't belong to you.
Right. He's totally he's like, I am a dumb shit.
Yeah, he's so
that's not why
off.
I gave it to you people to give it to somebody else.
Mm-hmm,
I gave it to you to keep it in a museum, not to have somebody else pretend to be Cap.
That's why I questioned whether he loaned it or gave it to them. Because if he loaned it, he'd be like, I want it back.
See, I think he made the mistake and gave it to them. And that's why he was thinking it would be in, you know, the Smithsonian is a piece of the history. Instead, they repurposed it for a schmuck.
Right. And he's like, bitch, that's why I didn't do it that way. It's not why I gave it to you.
I'll put that under questions for clarity, though. I'll look into it. I think you're right, though. I just want to check on it. No, I won't, because you're right. I'm not even going to bother. I'm not even going to bother with questions for clarity. So, and that's the end. And we're all pissed. So.
Well, that's how they get us to watch.
Yeah. Yeah. All right, ladies, do you have any tidbits?
So are we just not going to talk about the fact that his sister calls him Uncle Sam, which is like an Americana reference to, you know.
What?
Oh my God, you didn't pick up on that?
The kids are like, the kids go up to him when he drives up and they're like, Uncle Sam. And she's like, yeah, Uncle Sam. And she salutes him.
What?
Yeah.
I completely missed
when they're on the pier.
I mean, I remember that, but I did not read into that.
Yeah.
Oh, that's funny.
I was thinking, I was like, wow.
That is funny.
How ironic. His name is Uncle Sam.
Right. So, I mean, if that's not the biggest blaring, you know, red flashing light saying he's going to be Captain America, I don't know what is.
Yeah. Any other tidbits?
Yeah. So at the end, you know, how they do, you know, the end credits, there was some tidbits in the end credits. In the end credits, you can see a reference to Madripoor, which is from the X-Men comics. He's one of Madripoor is one of the main cities. And at one point, the city is taken over by Hydra.
Okay.
So that was like a little nod, especially, you know, coming off the tail end of WandaVision, where there was a lot of, you know, X-Men references, you know, in the last few episodes. And then also you can see a date of December 16th, 1991 during the credits, which is the date Tony's parents were killed by the Winter Soldier.
That's good. That's a good one. I'm digging it.
So those were two of the credit tidbits that I had picked up on.
They also had they had a page from the journal that Zemo was reading from to, you know, when he had the words to get
make Bucky
to the Winter Soldier. They had like a page from that book.
Very nice
as well.
Good eye, ladies. Holy shit.
And then I was also reading that because I don't know about you guys, but when I was watching it and Sam was giving his speech, I was like, oh my God, it's Don Cheadle. He's here. So I was reading that there are going to be other appearances later on in the upcoming episodes. Apparently there's going to be a pretty sizable role for Sharon Carter, Agent 13, coming up. So I'm also super interested to see, like, in addition to her, who else might show up, it's like a cameo.
Yeah.
Who?
I don't know. She's just
I'm just saying I'm wondering. I don't know who.
It's wondering.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I think it'll be cool to see because I was not expecting to see Don Cheadle. I was like, oh my God.
Yeah.
You weren't?
Yeah.
No.
I was kind of excited, like, oh, Brody's there.
Wasn't he in? Well, I only watched the one preview. I didn't watch them all. I thought he was in
the
there,
previews I saw. No, I was legitimately. I was like, oh my God, like super surprised.
I thought that was really cool. The only thing that I had was that it, Jamie?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
You can keep talking. I'll skim through the rest of my notes and see.
Was that John Walker in the comics? He was a supervillain called Super Patriot.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, he had a few different names. Super Patriot,
and then
U.S. Agent.
Say, U.S. Agent, yeah.
Yuck.
We were talking about that over the weekend, and Little Big was like, oh, yeah, that's U.S. Agent. I'm like, who the hell is that? Where did that come from? I don't know the comics, dude.
Yeah, that's the thing is that there's I feel conflicted, ladies. The three of us are admittedly not all about the comics, right?
Right.
We are romance novel readers. Bridgerton, hello. However, we love the MCU movies, right? We are trying to open our minds to the comics, but we do not know everything about the comics, nor the MCU, period. This is a learning experience for all of us. On Reddit, they're so mean to people who reference just the movies. We all know the movies are different than the comics. They're never going to be exactly the same.
That's why they're based off of the comics. They're not verbatim.
That's why it's the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Yep.
Right? These people are cutthroat. There are comic people, and then there are movie people. The comic people hate the movie people. And the movie people just want to be accepted and learn from the comic people. And the comic people are like, pick up a fucking comic and learn it yourself. I'm like, fuck you. That's what the interwebs is for.
I'm going to do my research.
They're just very mean to MCU people. And MCU people's like, I just want to love, man. They're like the hippies, right? It's cutthroat out there, ladies. Really is. I am not one of Reddit's fan. Reddit is not my fan. The people of Reddit do not like me at all. I ask the stupidest questions. And they're like, excuse me, comic book guy from The Simpsons. They're like, in Avengers number 1 to 43. Excuse me. I'm like, oh God, dude. I don't know. I'm just asking, when did Tony and Pepper get married? That's all I'm asking. I'm not asking for fucking history. Right. I want to know what episode they got married in, because you know what? I read romance novels, and maybe I could bring comic books into that. Baby steps.
Yeah. See, my thing is when we started doing this, I'm like, all right, I know a lot of it was, historically based in the comics. I'm like, all right, I'm going to delve into these suckers. Have not read them, cover to cover, but I'm like, it's worth, for content and for my own knowledge. I'm like, oh, well, that makes sense. Now I know where they got it from.
Right. And I find myself being the same way. Any other tidbits, ladies?
That was all.
Yep.
That was it. What are our questions for clarity? I have so many, I don't know how to organize them, kind of.
Well, and I know, I have a few, but I know they're going to be answered later. My whole thing is is Bucky ever going to, get the stones to, do his amends? I don't know. But yeah, I mean, obviously it's part of his process, but we just don't know when.
I want to know, what's going to happen? Well, we will find out.
That's what I'm saying.
Like,
I don't know that there's any questions because we can't compare like apples to oranges. This is a completely different, series than what we had just come off of with WandaVision.
Yeah.
So I don't know that there's going to be so many questions for clarity.
Questions. Right.
Because I honestly feel like the questions we have are going to be answered.
Yeah.
Which I'm super excited about because we all love answers. So
yes.
Yes. We are very impatient. The three of us are very, very impatient people.
Because we're used to binging stuff and getting it over in one fell sweep.
Yes.
And this is great because we're actually recording as we're watching.
Yeah, this is a first.
Unlike WandaVision.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we just watched it 2 days ago and now we're talking about it already.
Yeah. And then I'll start editing tomorrow.
And I mean, it's still fresh in our heads because it's not like, oh shit, we've watched 4 episodes. Let me go back and rewatch. Don't get me wrong. I have no problem rewatching, but yeah, it's still fresh in your head. Yeah, I just, I don't know if it was because of the cinematography or the fact that it was a little bit longer in length, but it felt like I was watching a movie.
Yeah.
Yeah. I felt like it went by really quickly.
Mm-hmm.
It was very fast paced. There were a lot of scenes.
Yeah, they packed a lot in.
They packed a lot in 45 minutes. And even, actually, it was a half hour because 15 minutes of that was fucking credits. Okay?
Yeah, exactly.
So, but it was good. And I'm very excited. And, Anthony Mackie's not too bad to look at.
Nikki's list keeps growing.
Woo! Woo! Tap it corner.
Love it.
Just hold up a picture of Anthony and just tap it. All right. I love you.
Love you.
Love you.
3,000. Why didn't you do it, Alyssa? Viva's the best paper towels.
It is. And it's the most absorbent and the strongest paper towel. I did a whole science project on the absorbency of paper towels when I was a lot younger.
You mean Lagos brand isn't the most absorbent?
What? It's all right. He's adding ambiance to the background.
I can't help it.
It's okay.
He just looks at me.
People expect it now. If they don't hear the tapping, they're like, what's wrong with Little Big? Where is he? Is he okay?
Quiet. He's giving me the death stare right now.
Give him kissies.
The only reason we said anything is because they hear you type.
Better be an email and getting you a spa day. Tell him that.
Yeah, better be an email about getting me a spa day, Nikki says.
I've offered to get you a spa day so many times.
I know, he has offered.
And you're not for it.
I am, but I don't know. You
it's
feel
that
guilty.
Guilt. Yes, it's the guilt. Same here. It's like,
I feel
honey,
guilty.
Go get a pedicure. Go get a manicure. Obviously not now, but back before our blip happened. So he's like, go get a manicure, pedicure. I'm like, yeah, maybe I will. And then I'll leave. I'll go to Dunkin' Donuts. I'll sit, have a donut, have a cup of coffee, and come home. And he's like, that was quick. I'm like, I didn't go. That's a waste of money.
I hear you.
I feel guilty. Ugh, anyway.